Netflix's two flagship survival thrillers, Alice in Borderland and Squid Game, have always been locked in an unspoken rivalry. Both series redefined what global audiences expected from the death game genre, mixing emotional storytelling with brutal competition. Now, with both shows concluding their third seasons and sharing an identical 86% Rotten Tomatoes score, fans are asking the ultimate question: which one ended better? While both finales deliver spectacle and emotion, Alice in Borderland Season 3 manages to pull off something Squid Game Season 3 doesn't: a genuine sense of closure that honors its story and characters without losing its soul to expansion bait. Two survival worlds, one shared DNA. It's no mystery why Alice in Borderland and Squid Game are constantly compared. Both pit desperate players against lethal childhood games. Both use their settings, a deserted Tokyo and a secret Korean island, to explore moral decay and human resilience. Yet their foundations are remarkably different. AIB, adapted from Haro Aso's manga, follows Arisu, Kento Yamazaki, a drifting young man forced into a nightmarish alternate Tokyo where survival depends on clearing deadly, card-based challenges. Meanwhile, Squid Game follows Ji-hun, Lee Young-jae, a down-on-his-luck gambler who voluntarily enters a high-stakes competition where each children's game can end in death. Both use their carnage to comment on modern society. Squid Game attacks capitalism and greed, while Alice in Borderland explores existentialism, morality, and the nature of freedom. The overlap is clear, yet their emotional aims differ drastically. Alice in Borderland Season 3, a game that ends with purpose. After a 3-year hiatus, Alice in Borderland returned for its third and final chapter, and it doesn't waste time raising the stakes. Set 5 years after Season 2, Arisu and Usagi are now married, only to be torn apart once again when a new series of games forces them back into the Borderlands. What sets AIB apart is how personal its story becomes. Arisu's moral evolution reaches its peak when he sacrifices himself to save his loved ones, while the Watchman's cryptic warning about the Joker reframes the entire saga. The finale even teases new beginnings, both for Arisu and Usagi's unborn child and for the possible continuation of the games, but does so with elegance rather than desperation. The closing moments, featuring callbacks to past players and a symbolic earthquake hinting at a wider catastrophe, serve not as franchise bait, but as poetic ambiguity. It feels earned, a bittersweet goodbye rather than a marketing move. Squid Game Season 3. Humanity lost in the game. Squid Game's third season goes for heartbreak, but ends up repeating itself. Ji-hun's protective instincts toward a baby born mid-competition provide a touching premise, but the finale's self-sacrifice feels oddly hollow. While the message, that players are humans not horses, reinforces the show's anti-capitalist roots, the execution leans into melodrama and predictability. The revelation that the games now operate internationally, particularly in the United States, undermines the intimacy that made Squid Game's original ending unforgettable. Instead of closing the loop, it opens unnecessary doors, diluting its emotional punch in favor of potential spin-offs. Character depth and emotional resonance. When it comes to character growth, Alice in Borderland triumphs. Arisu's evolution from apathetic slacker to selfless survivor feels organic, while his dynamic with Usagi grounds the show in real human connection. By contrast, Squid Game's Ji-hun remains compelling but largely static, still defined by guilt and survivor's remorse rather than growth. Supporting casts tell a similar story. AIB uses its ensemble, from the tragic Banda to the resilient Usagi, to explore different shades of morality, while Squid Game's later characters often serve as moral props to advance Ji-hun's arc. The verdict: Alice in Borderland wins the final round. Both Squid Game and Alice in Borderland deserve credit for reshaping Netflix's global storytelling landscape. They're equally thrilling, equally brutal, and equally acclaimed. But Alice in Borderland emerges as the more complete and emotionally satisfying series. Where Squid Game ends with spectacle and setup, Alice in Borderland ends with meaning, a reflection on survival, sacrifice, and what it means to truly wake up from a nightmare. It's the rare finale that feels final, and in today's streaming world of endless sequels, that's the boldest move of all.